First tonight, within 3 years there will be no rough sleepers on the streets of Milton Keynes. That's the pledge by the council tonight as it tries to deal with the growing problem. In 2012 there were just 6 people sleeping rough in Milton Keynes, but that rose to 48 last year, and it's thought the real figure could be double that. The council has set aside £4 million to address homelessness. £500,000 of that aims to ensure that all rough sleepers have a permanent home by 2021. Kate Bradbrook reports.
Preparing something hot for those living out in the cold. This weekly drop-in for the homeless and those living in vulnerable situations is run by the charity Open Door MK. In all, they provide around 50 meals a week.
Some people like myself have always struggled holding down work because of mental health problems and this and that addiction problems. So a lot of us have done a lot of time on the streets and we're lucky to be alive, really.
In the last 2 years, at least 4 rough sleepers have died on the streets of Milton Keynes. The council hopes to drastically reduce the number of homeless in the town by offering everyone permanent accommodation, which would include a care and support package to address complex needs such as drug addiction.
That's what we're looking for, a more joined up approach with the mental health teams, as I say, the drug and alcohol rehabilitation teams, so that we can all work together. It's not just about give someone a house, because if they can't sustain that property and if they don't have any support, then they're going to find themselves back on the street again.
This is my flat, it's my front room. And then you can come round there, you can see the kitchen just around the corner.
Lucy's one of the lucky ones. After being homeless on and off for 10 years, she secured this flat at the YMCA and says the support she's been given has been life-changing.
Literally, I've got a roof over my head now, I'm happy. It's so much better. I suffer with depression and anxiety, but since I've had a roof over my head, that's sort of gone away a bit more. It's always there, but it's a lot better now.
The council estimates there could be more than 100 homeless people at any one time in Milton Keynes, but it's feared the true figure could be much higher.
I think the other thing that we want to see at YMCA Milton Keynes is also looking to address the serious problem there is with young people who are homeless, and they're not always on the street. They could be living in overcrowded or unsafe housing conditions where they're subject to physical or sexual abuse, or they might be sofa surfing with friends and feel they've outstayed their welcome.
Well, can I say, we're going to eliminate it. That's our aim by 2027.
The issue is also on the national agenda. Today in Parliament, the Prime Minister backed a new law, which comes into force next month, obliging councils to step in and help people threatened with losing their home.
Nobody in this House wants to see anybody having to sleep rough on the streets of this country.
Back at the drop-in, and there are more hungry mouths to feed. According to charities and those using their services, any extra help can't come soon enough. Kate Bradbrook, BBC Look East in Milton Keynes.
Well, Councillor Pete Marland is the leader of Milton Keynes Council. He told me earlier that the plan was ambitious, but that unlike previous strategies, it is key that this one isn't just about giving rough sleepers a roof over their heads.
Our research has shown that people who are sleeping on the street have often had housing in the past. They just can't maintain the tenancy. So what we want to do is help them, support their tenancy, get them into a better job, and actually give them the support that they need if they've got other issues such as drug and alcohol addiction.
But where are you going to get this accommodation from? Because it's not like Milton Keynes is overflowing with spare affordable property, is it?
No, but it's a choice that you make, and so some of that will come from the private sector, some will be council accommodation such as 1-bedroom or maisonettes, where actually because of our statutory need is generally for families, we can use it more efficiently for rough sleepers and people that need it the most.
Why did it take the council so long to come up with this strategy if this is the one that's going to fix everything?
Well, it's about evolution rather than revolution. We've spent the past 18 months getting our emergency accommodation right, making sure that if somebody is on the street, that people have somewhere safe as quickly as possible. But this is about a long-term strategy. This is about making sure that people have a long-term outcome, and actually it's taken us a while to get there.
Has it been difficult to find the funding for this?
Well, obviously we've faced quite huge cuts over the past 7 years. We've had £144 million worth of cuts as a council, so it is always difficult, but it's a matter of prioritisation, and homelessness is something that fills up my inbox on a daily basis.
Rough sleeping is very much the visible part of homelessness. Are you aiming to eradicate all homelessness by 2021, i.e. people living in B&Bs and on friends' sofas as well?
Well, I think the good news is that when we became the administration in 2014, we had 80 families in temporary accommodation and all of them were in bed and breakfast. We've now got over 650 families in temporary accommodation and none are in bed and breakfast. So whilst I don't think we can ever end homelessness, the only thing that we can do to end homelessness is allow councils to build council houses again for all people, regardless of their income, so everybody could have a good house.
Are you concerned that people will come from outside of Milton Keynes and risk their lives sleeping on the streets just to get a property?
I think the risk of Milton Keynes being known as somewhere that takes care of rough sleepers is a risk I'm willing to take. And I don't think it's right that before we even introduce it, we worry about that. I'd rather be known as somewhere that has a good homeless policy and then worry about the implications of that rather than not do it in the first place.
But there's no plan at this stage to ensure that everyone you are helping has a connection and a genuine connection to the town?
Not at the moment, because actually my main aim, and I think the council's main aim, is to get the people we have here tonight off the streets, give them a safe place to live and give them actually the support that they need to rebuild their lives.
Councillor Pete Marland there.